What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Tino's Time. It's been a little bit since we talked anything besides wrestling, guys, but we are getting closer and closer to the baseball season beginning. We're 2 weeks away. White Sox open up with those Houston Astros, the World Series champs, the Friday before WrestleMania. It's going to be good, guys. So, today, we're going to be here. We got a lot to talk about. We're in the middle of spring training. A lot of guys are doing that. We got the World Baseball Classic. We got a lot of baseball going on right now, guys. So I decided let's go live this week and let's talk some baseball. We will start going live once WrestleMania season is over. We'll be going live once a week to talk baseball. So, guys, just deal with me right now until WrestleMania. You guys know WrestleMania season's crazy. But let's not waste any more time today. And let me introduce my co-host on this baseball season that we're going to be doing here today. And then we have a couple people that we're going to introduce. We got one here now with us, and then we got one that we're waiting for to join us. But first, guys, let me welcome my co-host. He was here on the first episode. He joined us last year, a few episodes. It's my man, SouthSide Deech. Guy, what's up, man? How are you doing? Thanks for coming on, hanging out with me. Ready to talk more baseball?
Excited to talk some baseball.
Let's go. We're getting. What's the countdown at now, man? I feel like last time we were here was like a month and a half. Well, maybe it's just
20, I know it's under 20 days now.
That works. I feel like I got so many countdowns in my head as I was talking about WrestleMania and everything. Like I got to keep track. So, but guys, if you guys saw, this is not just Tino's Time MLB show anymore, guys. This is Tino's Time presenting the Southside Boys, and that means SouthSide Deech was nice enough, and he found some more co-hosts and some guys that wanted to come on here and talk some more baseball. So we're going to have guys coming in through the season. We're going to have new, same guys coming out, just talking White Sox baseball, regular baseball, free agency, everything going on in the baseball world. So let's welcome a first-time guest here to Tino's Time, everybody. It's my man, J-Man. How you doing, J-Man? Thanks for coming and hanging out. I appreciate it.
Doing well. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk some White Sox baseball. We're getting close. So
I love it. When it starts feeling nice outside, I feel so lame. I'm sitting inside playing 2K today, and I'm like, I want to go outside. It's nice out. It's like the best part about the baseball season. It's always like the weather is so great.
Extra hour. Yeah. It's starting to feel like baseball.
So, but since people may not know much about you guys and everything, I figured in case people didn't join us on last episode, if you guys want to take a second to tell us a little bit about yourselves, how you guys have started watching the White Sox, your favorite player or two. Oh, and hey, look who it is. It's our guy. Let's welcome the fourth member of the Southside Boys, guys. He just joined the stream. Let's not waste no time. Let's get Bardo in the house. What's up? What's up? How you doing? Hello? I don't think we can hear him. Can you hear me? Aw, dang. Okay, we'll get him back in, guys. So we'll get him back in here whenever. So if you want to start off, J-Man, since you're the first timer here, if you want to start off, like I said, just how you maybe started watching the White Sox, your favorite player.
Yeah, so it was just kind of forced on me at birth. I went to my first game when I was like 6 months old. My dad and my grandpas, they're all crazy Sox fans. So I've just never really not been a part of me. So I've been watching them for 25 years now. And my favorite players right now, we'll go with TA and Lance Lynn. Those are my guys right now. I liked my past couple of years. My answers would have been Abreu and Rodon for reasons we won't get into on this show with the squad anymore. I love Liam Hendricks as well. So those are my guys for sure.
Who's your favorite past player?
Big fan of AV. I'm expecting big things this season.
Oh, so am I, man. He's been looking good in spring training so far from what the games we've been able to watch on the TV. I wish they would at least have some way for us to watch all of them because there's only like 8 I think we're able to watch.
Right, yeah.
So, but who's your favorite player like past from like World Series team from like before they started the rebuild, before they tried to be good?
Before they tried to be good, not like that. It's funny because I did really like Adam Eaton his first go around with the Sox. I was a big Chris Sale guy. I'd say I don't know what it is with the left-handed pitchers. I mentioned Rodon, Sale. I think growing up it was Burley and AJ. Those are my two guys.
Bardo, can you hear us now? Hello? No. I don't know if we could hear him. I thought I did for a minute. Oh, we'll get him in here. So, yeah, man, that's exactly how I was. I was one of those guys. I was that kid. Bro, I love Burley, all of them. That was just. I think Burley was. We're gonna be so used to Burley that I think it's gonna be easier to watch these games this year because we talked a little bit about it. Me and Southside Deach on the first episode with the pitch clock and everything, and they said what the games have been averaging like 2.5 hours, something like that. I think.
Yeah, they're all Mark Burley starts now.
So it should be interesting. They made a comment. They're like, you probably should get to games early now, but so you want to enjoy it.
Right.
But Southside Deach, you've joined us. You joined us, and we didn't really talk too much. So we want to tell everybody who your favorite player is and everything, or like how you started in case they weren't here on the first few episodes.
My grandpa was a huge Sox fan and grew up on the South Side, right by the stadium. So just watching games with him, kind of just ingrained in the blood. So since I was a youngin, I guess, yeah, that would be the easiest way to say it.
You bleed black and white, man. That's what we got to do.
Yeah. Current favorite player, Michael Kopech. I think Michael Kopech this year is going to have a huge year.
Man, it would be so nice to see him do that. It'd be so good because I think he's one of those players that could, if he's like the fourth starter and he's doing what he was doing, it could be fantastic. So,
definitely.
What about your past player?
I was a huge Maglio fan.
Oh, bro.
What's up, fellas?
There we go. What's up,
Bardo?
Bardo? How you doing, Bardo? How you doing?
Trying to get
hanging out.
Trying to get those headphones to work, and I have to get the kids.
Man, technology just does never work. It's so bad. It's very annoying.
Never. What's up, fellas?
What's up?
How's it going, Bardo?
It's going, man. I was trying to get the kids settled and all that, trying to get everything going.
Man, I appreciate you taking time out of your day and talking some White Sox baseball. I just asked them. I was asking them who their favorite players were, like past and present, and then kind of how you started, like watching baseball, White Sox baseball, everything. So if you want to tell the people, since you're first time guest here on Tino's Time.
I started. Actually, I was part of like the YMCA when I was a kid. So like summer camp was like always like Sox games because it was cheaper. So we used to go as like summer camp, and then we used to always sit up in like the 500 level. So that's how I became a Sox fan. Since I was like
those 500 levels, I don't know how you guys do it. I have so much anxiety. I can't even like sit past like the baselines, like even like the outfield. I'm like having like panic attacks. I'm like I can't do it.
I sat up there for the 21 game for the Garcia game. It was just shaking up there. It was crazy.
Oh, I can't. The atmosphere in that stadium can be so good.
Yeah.
Out in the bleachers for that, and when he hit the homer, it was like an Ole Miss college baseball game. Everyone threw their beers up. It was absolutely electric.
Man, hopefully we can have some more of that. So let's not waste any more time here because we do have a lot to talk about. So Southside Deach was nice enough to help me out, make me a list of topics and everything. So I figured that we'd start off and we do a bunch of different types of topics. We'll get into like everything. So if you guys want to start off with Mike Clevinger, because we all know obviously everything that's been going on. By the way, guys, I will get to the chat, so make sure you guys continue to comment, say what's up to everybody. Appreciate all you guys coming and hanging out. So Mike Clevinger, we saw him in the beginning. He was with the Indians at the time, now Guardians, and that move that he had, I don't know if that was like a thing that's all he's always had, but that move that with his feet that he did always kind of like messed me up. And then he obviously got hurt, and he went and they traded him to the Padres, and we got him. And now these things came out where he's abusing people, his wife, his girlfriend, his kid, and everything like that. And we recently just found out that now he's been denied of all of his charges, and he will be okay to play for, I think they said now. I don't think the MLB is doing anything else as of right now. So how do you guys all feel about this? I mean, like, do you guys think this is, I mean, obviously I don't know how it's going to do because as J-Man was talking about like Abreu and Rodon and everything like that, you know, we're trying to build a new culture and everything and doing like, I don't know. How do you guys feel about this? Whoever wants to go first, go ahead, guys.
I'm just ready to put I hope they can put it behind them. I think that's the biggest thing is, regardless of how we feel, in that clubhouse, first year manager, dealing with, obviously they can, say that it wasn't a distraction, but when you get to camp and you're being asked about this, and a lot of people are having to speak on and defend a guy who, they'd probably never really met or knew that well before he got to camp. I'm hoping that what ultimately matters is that they can put it behind them and that Clevinger stays healthy, because his upside is being one of, if not the best fifth starter in baseball, and he can even slide up that rotation given how other guys perform. So if he can put it behind them and the team can put it behind them, my biggest question with him now is his health.
Yeah.
I think I'm not going to be cheering for him. I'm not going to boo him. To me, he's a starting pitcher 5. So if he eats up innings and he's good, I can't really complain. I can't.
As long as he's doing his job.
Exactly. You can't. I know it's like innocent until proven guilty, but I don't know what transpired between those two. But I know we all talked about it, but she's not innocent on her side either. So
No, and didn't she delete like her Twitter and everything? And obviously, I don't want to get into that because we could do a whole podcast on this.
exactly.
But I mean, it's just one of those things that it just like it's a crazy situation. So, Deech, how do you feel about this? I know we kind of talked a little bit about it on the first episode, but like,
So the fact that he's able to pitch, as of now, it'll be the whole year, barring an injury, of course, like Justin. So as long as he can stay healthy, you feel a lot better with your rotation with him on the back end as opposed to Davis Martin. Because
yeah, definitely.
And he looked good the other day. Like he was pumped 96.
Well, that's been the biggest thing I haven't been able to do. I haven't been able to watch too many of the games. So it's one of those things I'm trying to is watch as much as I've been able to. And it's one of the things I just really hope, like you guys said, if he can stay healthy and being that number 5 starter, I think would be very good and be very helpful, because the more arms you have, the better it's going to get.
Exactly.
The better it is the later on in the season.
And I still think he'll have a better year than Johnny Cueto. I think Cueto would just lightning in the bottle last year.
Yeah, so I was gonna mention him too, because I was thinking about that. Like Cueto going to the Mariners and whatnot. What is he gonna be, their 4th? Is he their 5th? Is he gonna be their 5th, or is he like higher up? I
think it was Miami.
Was it Miami? I thought it was Seattle.
Yeah, it was Miami.
Was it Miami? Okay.
Yeah, he had that huge entrance thing where he walked in with like his national flag and everything from center field for his presser to announce.
Oh, then who the hell? I don't know. Somebody went to Seattle then. I don't know. I thought it was Cueto. But
AJ went to Seattle.
Oh, Pollock?
Yeah.
That's what it was. Okay. But I mean, that's one of those things too. It should be interesting to see. And do you guys feel that with Cueto too, that he was just a lightning in a bottle? Because he literally brought something to that rotation last year that was needed. But I feel like by that point it was just too late, because they didn't bring him up till what, like three? Yeah, it was like 2 months into the season.
That's where I think that's the difference is he didn't pitch a full season last year, and towards the end you kind of started to watch him lose it a little bit. So I mean, if you have him coming out in April, to expect him to pitch a full season, I think is a lot, especially just with his age. But you never know. I mean, he's kind of one of those like workhorse pitchers that just seems to keep going out there and putting up. I mean, it's not like any of his starts with the Sox were that bad. So
no, I mean, I think he was the pitcher that went into the seventh inning most last year for our team.
Oh,
yeah. It was just like, and it sucks that it was the guy that we signed in a minor league deal that we were hoping for, and it's just like, if I have to continuously see the White Sox do that, just like they want to hit a lightning in a bottle with every player that they get. They're just like, let's pay this guy cheap, let's get him, hope he hits it. So
that's where I kind of wanted to get to, is I think that Cueto may have been the safer bet. I do think he'll go out and be healthy all year. He's just one of those guys where it just seems to be like, yeah, he's never really hurt, never really has a problem. He'll take the ball every fifth day and go. He was never going to have given us what he gave us last year. And I was happy when they, didn't really seem interested in bringing him back. Clevinger is a more high risk, high reward. And again, I'm not even going to speak to the character things and anything that, we want to say about that. The bottom line, he's got very nasty stuff. He's got front of the end rotation stuff. If he's healthy and he's pitching and he's focused, the problem is going to be, he could also end up hurt. And then, like Deech said, you're left with Davis Martin as your fifth, and maybe a rotation of guys. But this is a starting staff that's in need of someone to come in and help eat innings. Cueto, bared so much of that burden last year for this pitching staff, going so deep into starts, like Bardo said, and that's just going to have to be something that they replicate somehow this year with the five they have.
Yeah, and I mean, I completely agree with everything that you said. We're just like, and that's the thing. It's like I feel like if we could just have a consistent starting five where we're not rotating guys in, it's just like I feel like it's like every year we find this little thing, and then all of a sudden something happens, and then this guy's hurt or that guy's hurt, or it's like constant. No matter who's in the rotation, when it was Sal and Cueto, when it was Giolito and flipping Quintana, when it was just like, I feel like it's like two pitchers that we have every year, then there's like three guys that we don't have. And it's just like you see the teams that are in it that just like, if we stay healthy, we could win 94 games, I think.
Oh, I agree. That's
the biggest thing. And that's what we're going to continue to talk about a lot. But it seems a lot of the guys are excelling in the World Baseball Classic. I've seen the highlights. Looks like Luis is raking, Yohan's raking, Lynn is pulling his junk in full form in March. Like, how are you guys feeling? Have you guys been able to watch? I'll be honest, I haven't watched too much. As you guys know, I've watched wrestling so much. I haven't really been able to watch too much of the games, but I've watched a bunch of the highlights. Have you guys been able to watch, like, sat down and watched, like, a few of the innings and everything like that? How are you guys enjoying it?
I was into the last night. I was excited, like legitimately excited. Like, I get to watch Lance pitch. I thought it was awesome. I wanted to mention this, that DeRosa, you watch the broadcast, so Jason's doing the game. So he obviously has like that more of like that insider track to the White Sox.
Oh, man's on the screen.
And so Jason was talking about DeRosa has who's managing Team USA, Mark DeRosa, has these high praises for Tim Anderson. And yesterday he's like, we have to get his spark. We have to have him in the lineup. He played second base for the first time in a game in his professional career. DeRosa was that adamant about having the bat in the lineup and having the presence in the lineup, and Tim delivered with a great game. So that's, I think, like the most encouraged I've felt all offseason is seeing that and knowing that Tim is making an impact in a clubhouse with guys like Mookie Betts and Paul Goldschmidt and Mike Trout, and learning from these guys too. What a good culture looks like. I think that can't be understated.
That's a very good point, because when I heard that, I was like, damn, I was like, if he's saying this and he's like, and I think that was a big thing. Like we talked about, like the injuries last year, like Tim really did miss a lot of games, and they did say it in the locker room where it was like he was that spark and everything like that. And I don't even know what it was, but it just seemed like from they had in 2020, 2019, they just completely, everything just, they like forgot what it was in the offseason or something last year. Yeah. And all of it was just like nobody wanted to play. Nobody wanted to do anything. And maybe it was just La Russa. Like maybe that's literally all it was. And maybe these guys come out and play with Pedro, because all of the podcasts I listen to, Chuck's excited. Everybody's excited. And it's just one of those things. I try not to get my hopes up, because how many times have we been let down as White Sox fans? Oh, yeah. And I'm trying my best not to get my hopes up for it. But it's one of those things, seeing these guys play the way they've been playing, like, especially Yohan. Like, Yohan is that guy that if we could have him a little 2019 and have the patience that he had last year, I feel like Yohan is the best player, one of the best players in the game. And it's just been one of those things with him where it's what we're watching guys run down to first base and they're like literally jogging, or they're afraid to do this. It's like, just go out there and, like, we've seen them bust out plays. It's like, have you guys heard too with the Guardians, where they were like, they knew that they go out there and they would beat us because they knew how to play it and they knew that they were in our heads. And it's like, I feel like that's what the Sox need to do this year, where it's like they need to prove that they can just get in their heads and get into people's. So, I mean, with the baseball, like, how are you guys feeling about Yohan? Because I feel like he's the biggest guy that needs to prove something most this year.
We're not asking for 2019 Yohan. I'm just asking between 2019 and 2021 in between.
Yeah, I mean, anything is just at this point with him, because it just, We don't need. You're right. We don't need them to be perfect, but we just need a little bit of everything.
It's there's a lot of external fact. I think like 2021 Johan was solid. So I like that you brought up that point. He was good. Now there seem to be so many arguments after that season. Is he elite? Is he elite? You know, I like to try to balance, you know, what I'm seeing and traditional power numbers with, you know, because people will, you know, a lot of people who say he's elite, they're just trying to jam his fan graphs war down your throat. That's what it seemed to be after that 2021 season. And like, okay, that's fine. But like you and I both know, you know, when we watch 150 of these games, okay, you know, when healthy, he was the 5th best guy in that lineup, you know, somewhere around there. So what we're asking of him is to just be a contributor in a good lineup. I think that we can't really ask him to be the guy.
No.
But if they are clicking in their lineup, and they did that in 2021, even without Robert and Jimenez there for a good deal of the year, he filled his spot. He walked, he got on base ahead of guys who drove in runs. He just needs to do that. He doesn't, you know, at this point, I don't think we're ever getting that number one prospect in Yohan Moncada.
No, sadly, no.
Sadly, no, and that is what it is. But he plays a great third base.
The defense is great.
The defense is phenomenal.
And it just and it is one of those things where it's like he's another one where I feel like you said, like with Jimenez and Robert being out too, like those are another two guys. I feel like if Eloy's healthy for at least 140, he could hit 40 home runs. And that's not counting Luis, where maybe his lowest is possible 20. So you're telling me that 60 home runs right there. And you said it with the amount of home runs that we were so under last year, that it's just going to be one of those things that if they could just play baseball, stay healthy and everything, like we could be looking at a completely different team this year. And it's one of those things. We still have 2 weeks. A lot could happen. A lot can change. But I'm just really excited for the season to start. And when this season does begin, the next thing I want to talk about is the bench. What do you guys think, and who do you guys feel should be the bench? And I'll let all of you guys give your own, like, 5, if you want to give, like, 5 players each on your bench, who you guys think will be on the bench. So if Deets, you want to start, who do you think will be on the bench when we are sitting there opening day at Sox Park?
I'm going to go with what I want as opposed to what I think. Just because I don't feel you can trust that the right thing will be done here. Leury Garcia deserves no spot on the bench whatsoever.
On the team or on the bench, or does he deserve to be outside?
Be in the major leagues. So he would be better on a different team, but if you're going to waste a bench spot on him, it's solely because you're paying him. That's the only reason.
Oh man, that contract just, every time I think about it, it gives me anxiety.
He's got 11 million, right?
Yeah, for the next 2 years.
I thought he had 1 year left this year.
2 years, but it's like what, 5.5, I think, each year, something like.
Did Tony give him the money out of his contract or something? Because I feel like that's what happened.
But honestly, I'd say Sebi Savala, you obviously know. Gavin Sheets, I feel like no matter how much people want to argue, he has power and he's a lefty. So, I mean, they're going to sit there.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that lefty power is very important, especially.
The other two, I mean, it's kind of a toss-up, but I definitely would say Jake Berger and Alberto are the two that are making a case. I really can't buy into the Rami Gonzalez. Well, what I guess is funny is they blew him up. It was almost like, to make it not seem like they needed a second baseman, they used Rami and had all these hype videos of him, and then go out and send Elvis and are like, he's going to be the starter. So
they already assigned Sosa to minor league camp too, and it was supposed to be this big
competition
in between those two, and yeah.
Man, it's just one of those things where it's just like, and that, because what is it? How do you say his name? The dude that we got from the Royals, right? That's where he was at. He was on the Dodgers too.
Alberto.
Right? Is it Alberto? Is that? I thought it was like, I don't know. It's just Harberto.
It's Hanser Alberto, I think.
Hanser, there we go. Hanser Alberto. I'm so bad at pronouncing names. I'm like, I'd rather just ask before I'd say it because I'm going to sound like an idiot. He's one that I've heard has got a lot of praise. Like he said that they said that he was in the locker room last year. I think was it the Dodgers? They said that he was somebody that was like giving like speeches to guys that weren't even like playing, or he was sitting there and doing things that like when he really didn't need to, he was. And I think that's very important, especially for the clubhouse. If they're trying to build this new culture, I feel like having like a different type of a guy. Yes, he's on the Royals, and no, we're not becoming the White Sox Royals. We would have definitely went out and got Whit Merrifield for that one. And who was the other one they were talking about? Michael A. Taylor. I was like, please, like no,
Nicky
like,
Lopez
none of that.
tossed around too. And I think in terms of the bench, I think Deech, you have it like Sebby's obviously going to be the backup catcher. They're keeping Gavin Sheets. Everything they've done has indicated that they feel like they believe in Gavin Sheets. I think he's got a spot until he proves otherwise. The last two spots, I think, is when you have to start thinking about what fills out this roster. If you assume that they're going to continue to roll with Gavin Sheets, who is listed on when they list their depth for spring, he has been listed under outfielders. So he's an outfielder. They're already telling you that. They're already showing their hand. It helps when he's an outfielder behind three guys who actually are outfielders, which is contrary to last year and previous years where him and Vaughn were kind of out there running for their lives. Gavin can come in to hit for, I don't even know. It's tough. The toughest part for him is that the two corner outfielders are left-handed hitters. Honestly, that's where the logjam becomes. You think like you could put him in for Benintendi if you want someone who you think has a better chance at running into one if you need the long ball, but then he's out there in left field. So that's why with these last two spots, I think I would love to see Hanser Alberto get a crack. You mentioned him. I was happy someone else did. He's had such a good spring, and he's a middle infielder who provides depth there that eliminates the need for Leury Garcia and Romy Gonzalez, who don't seem like they're options at this point. Though, Deech, I'm with you. I think it will end up being Leury. And then for that fourth, I think they'll probably only keep four. So for the fourth, it comes down to you have Jake Berger, who I mentioned before we went live. As I like him as a power bat because they didn't hit a lot of home runs last season, but I think he might be best served in AAA at the same time, where you have him maybe coming up if Yohan Moncada goes down, if he's got problems with his legs again. I don't know what that situation is going to look like for him. You have that trio of outfielders they signed, Hamilton, Marisnik, and Victor Reyes.
Marisnik, I think, has been making the case from the spring training games I've seen. I think he was one that has been pretty good. I haven't seen too many. I think I've only watched like two.
I did just see an alert. Billy the hitter, whatever people try and call him, had a single where 3 runs scored off of it. So now that whole hype train will be back, I'm sure. But
we love Billy the hitter. I love Billy the hitter.
Billy's gonna love Charlotte.
I love it. You just go like Billy's good.
He's not good. If it was a 28-man roster instead of a 26, he'd be the extra guy. But he's not good. He's not good at all.
I think it's more of the fact for him. I think it's because he's been here. And I think it's because like the energy that he brings, I think maybe they were trying to bring it. I don't know. But the biggest thing he's there is just, I feel like, stolen bases. Yeah. And that's something I want to get your guys' opinions on because me and Deech talked a little bit about it. How do you guys feel about like the new rules, the pitch clock, the bigger bases, everything like that?
I love it. The only thing I'm going to hate is not being able to drink a little bit more at the games. Sure. But when the games are only 2.5 hours, that's going to be nice. But I don't know if you guys watched Kopech pitch the other day. I think a pitcher like that with the clock, it's going to help him tremendously. Get the ball throw. I think
less time to think out there and or more overthink. Yeah.
Get them on their heads. Because that's honestly the Sox pitching staff. Ethan Katz, anyone that he has made better has had more mental issues where like Giolito last year would do a lot of he's stomping around the mound and you could just tell he's frustrated. Now
he's so mad sometimes, and it's just like why like I felt like he was like out there like he was like pacing like one of us like watching the game. It's like bro like
down his face all the time.
Oh
yeah, I got really annoyed watching that last year. If I can just be fully transparent, or to like if you were like name the 5 most like frustrating things about last season, Giolito storming around in the mound will be on that list, and I'm rooting for him. I think he's got really good talent in his arm, but again, it is a mental thing for pitchers more than anything else. So I like that point, Bardo, about Kopech.
I mean, yeah, and that's the one thing where it's just like he is one of those guys where it's just like he was going to be the next thing I was going to actually talk about. But yeah, so if you guys do want to talk about him, I feel like he is a very key part to this because we like, with all of this and we've seen, because I feel like he'll be number 4? Because what do you guys think the opening 5 is? It's got to be what? Do you guys cease opening day?
I would go Lynn because
I've been seeing you champion for that, and I'm kind of with you.
Give it veteran.
The only reason why it scares me is, do you guys know what Lynn's record is in that stadium? I know in general, he doesn't know how to pitch in Houston for some reason.
Well, it's because the Astros devour fastballs, and that's all that he throws. It's just not a great matchup in general with him going against them. So
yeah. That's the only reason why I would say maybe sees. I don't know. I just don't want to watch Friday night baseball watching the Sox get pounded.
Have to pitch though. It's a 4-game series.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I know he will have to pitch eventually. I was just,
Here's what's going to happen is they've already said, or Fall already said that Kopech won't start in the opening series. And the reason why he's like, he'll be ready for the start of the season. Clearly he's ready. He pitched the other day, but he said he didn't know if he'd be ready for Houston. Now, what I think they're doing with that personally is setting up Michael to pitch opening day, the 5th game at Sox Park, rather than having Mike Clevinger. And that's just going to create a lot better buzz going into it. I was talking to my dad about this a few weeks ago, and I pulled up their schedule, and they can make it until, if they line up Clev as their 3rd or 4th starter, I can't remember what it was, they can make it until like mid to late April before he takes the bump at a home game. And that's exactly what I think they're going to do. I think that they're going to try to put as much distance between what happened with him this offseason and him starting at home behind them as they can. So I think Kopech will actually start as a 5th starter. Now, whether or not they think that that's how their rotation aligns, I don't know if that even matters. I think they're just trying to opening day, Michael Kopech on the mound. There's just a lot more buzz around that than dealing with a bunch of drunk, angry fans who are
and that's what it's going to be, is especially opening day. Everybody's tailgating, everybody's doing this, everybody's doing that. I'm just the lame one that shows up half hour before the game and then just goes into the stadium. But yeah, I mean, there's people that just go and like, you know what I mean? It's going to be one of those things. You want to have it fun and you don't want to hear the crowd of boo, and it's going to be like the old wrestling stadiums when you hear these boos. And it just like, and that's a very good point. I didn't even think about that. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Michael because I am going to opening day. Are you guys going too?
I will be there.
Oh, there we go. Are you? Are you going too, Justin?
I am actually not going to be out of town the week before, so I don't want to take yet another day off of work that Monday. It would be an absolute nightmare going back the day.
Gotcha. No, Drew. Yeah, I know. I feel you. But yeah, I think that's going to be the thing where it's going to be you want it to be that way. So with Kopech, what do you guys think what do you think his ceiling and what do you think like his low is? Whoever wants to go first.
Ceiling could probably be, he could probably have the Cease, last year Cease's year for him this year, if that makes sense. If he takes that next step.
Yeah. And that's what I think possibly could happen with them. It's like, I was always thinking about it. I was like, we've seen it kind of happen where it's like it takes a few more years with these guys, I feel like. And that's a lot with people I feel like don't understand. Like, these guys are still so young. Like some of these guys are like 25, 26 years old. I think about it like me. Like, I couldn't go out there and pitch. Like, I get stressed just doing a podcast. Like, going out there and pitching at 26. It's just something, you know what I mean? You got to think about that. Like, sometimes it takes a little bit. We saw it with Cease. And that's exactly what I was thinking with Kopech, was that he could possibly be that. So, but how do you guys feel? How do you feel, Justin, about that with like, and then Bardo, what do you think his like low is? Do you think like it will just be what it has been?
His low, we haven't seen 1 year he started. His low. Yeah. His low this past year was still great. He was still probably the number 2 best pitcher in the rotation when he's healthy. Look what he did against the Yankees. You guys remember that? Oh my God!
Oh, that 2-game sweep versus the Yankees. I was like in heaven. I was like, hell yeah! I was like
they're back. We're going.
I was like, we back. Tim Anderson hit the home run. I was like, let's go. We taking it. Not so much.
Yeah,
But,
I got reminded of a stat the other day that like they definitely were hammering during the season, but he had like the most starts in baseball of like 5 or 6 innings and 1 hit or less allowed, which is awesome. So I mean, there you go. There's a ceiling, but that also talks about his floor too, because 5 or 6 innings. We already talked about the innings with Clevinger. Is these starters need to eat a lot more innings this year.
You can't have the way the bullpen was used last year. Like it was like at the point where you're using Tanner Bakes every like day for like 5 days.
Yeah.
I wish they had a lefty in this rotation, man. That's what drives me nuts too. That long guy.
I really thought it was going to be. I really thought it was going to be Robbie Ray last winter after they didn't decide to pick up the option for Rodon, and I thought Robbie got a very fair contract, like 5 and 125. Funny, you know, I don't know. I know that he is never going to win a Cy Young again, but I'm with you. I like the no lefty in the rotation. It scares me a little bit.
Did I see in the chat right that Rodon is out for how long? Did he get hurt or did they just shut him down for a little bit?
Yeah, he's missing the start of the season. I don't know what.
Is he? Okay,
nerve damage, I think, or something in his arm.
So, Deech, how you feeling about what do you think about Kopech?
I don't know if anyone else watched that video. The Sox posted it on YouTube, and it was pretty much a bullpen session with Grandal and Kopech. And Grandal was making very good points and saying, last year you had 2 pitches that were extremely dominant that you were able to use consistently. And he was like, imagine if you add 2 more. Because he can throw, I think, a slider and a curveball.
Yeah.
And last, it was primarily – maybe it's I think changeup he didn't throw much last year. If he can throw more than 2 pitches and have success and get a lot of swing and miss, I mean, he has a high ceiling. It just more so is you get worried about whether his arm or his knee is going to act up.
Yeah.
Real point on adding more pitches to his repertoire. I mean, if you're a starting pitcher, you need 3 pitches. You can't just be out there throwing the same 2 pitches. And if he gets more of those swings and misses, Deech, that's how you end up going later into games because you're throwing less pitches. So all is kind of like, with him, it feels kind of like putting all the pieces together. We've seen signs the last couple of years. I mean, he was great out of the bullpen in 2021, and he was great when he was around last year. But, yeah, I mean, you worry about the longevity. You just hope that he's there mentally, and the physical part will follow.
Yeah. And I mean, I know like the years that he took off, and I know he was out for, the rest of the year, and then he took off COVID and everything. But I think that helped him a lot in a way. I think that was kind of like what he needed, because he said that he did a lot of different things that I think kind of like helped him. And I think this is the year that we could see like he could be, because like you guys said, and like we've talked about, last year was his low. And if that's his low, I'll take that all day as a low.
Yeah.
So we will definitely have to see with Kopech, and though, but we still do have 2 weeks left until spring. What are we, 18 days? I'm trying to keep up with WrestleMania. I think WrestleMania is 18, so I think there's 17 days.
It's 2 weeks from Thursday. The Sox open.
Oh, is it Thursday? I thought it was Friday.
No, they're Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, it's a 4. Oh, damn! I thought it was Friday. Damn. Okay, now I gotta find a way to watch WrestleMania and the Sox game.
They are like the opening night game on Thursday on ESPN.
Yeah, I know. I'm not looking forward to watching the goddamn banner pull up and then all they're gonna talk about is the White Sox and Abreu, and then every time Abreu hits the ball, oh my God, look what the Sox are missing, and I just don't want to listen to it.
I'll be placing a light wager on Jose Abreu to hit a home run in that game, because
hopefully TA just starts it off, first pitch home run, and we start the season off with a bang.
Ideally,
right? So the last thing I got for this episode today, because as you guys know, we talked about it, got to go live for NXT in an hour. So make sure you guys all come and hang out in an hour. Go watch some NXT as we're on the road to Stand and Deliver. Keep asking questions in the chat, guys. I'll answer all of them after we answer this one last question. The last question I have for you guys is, what would be one move that you guys would have done by the time the beginning of the season starts? Like right now, what's the one move that you guys think maybe will be or that should be done? And Deech, I'll start with you this time.
I just think Rick Hahn needs to convince Jerry Reinsdorf to DFA Leury Garcia and just eat the money.
I thought he was going to say sell the team. That's what I thought.
No.
I was like,
I'd get a DFA Leury billboard.
DFA Leury, just while we're driving down the highways.
He's not good.
They talk about this defensive versatility, and every time
they act like this guy is they act like he's like this utility guru that knows how to do everything.
Here's the thing: his natural position, his best position, the only position he plays above average is shortstop. And our best player plays shortstop. So if we're in a position where Leury is needing to step in and fill his natural position, we're in a bad spot to begin with. So it doesn't even matter. And I will always think about that ball hit to right field in that playoff game in Houston and just think, how are there people who still think that he's a functioning outfielder? So I guess I can just piggyback off of Deej. I mean, at this point, if that's what you're asking from here on out, what the best available option is, it would be to take some dead weight off the roster and have a bench that is actually versatile and not just one we're told is versatile, because he got doubled off the other day. He can't run the bases either. I mean,
bro, the base running, we didn't even mention the base run. The base running needs to be better. If I see these idiots do these stupid decisions that they made last year, it's just what are we doing here? These decisions that they were making, running over the base or not tagging. It's just stupid plays that we could get a base hit on or that we could get a run on.
I think that's going to improve dramatically without McEwing. I will say that. I'm not one who's bought into, this coaching staff is going to fix all of them.
Oh my God. Don't get the coaching staff and the trainers. Another whole podcast we could do. These trainers, if I see one guy complain about a little hammy or a little leg soreness, I'm going to cry. I'm just they got to be doing something. If you want to be an athlete, we're not athletes. So, we don't got to take care of our body like that. These guys getting paid millions to play baseball. Take care of your body.
They do look better this spring. So, they look noticeably better.
Eloy guy, we need to give a shout out to Mr. Eloy Jimenez, because that man don't even look like that. Nobody, bro. I looked at that picture. I was like, is that him?
Yeah.
I had to zoom in. I'm like, holy shit.
I just hope that doesn't affect his power, though,
Yeah, that is one thing I was thinking about too. But I mean, if he says that he's been doing everything he has been doing, then he said that he was dedicated. He's been doing all these different things, so we'll have to see. But while you were gone, Bardo, I asked him what would be one thing as of right now that you would do before the beginning of the season, when we start on opening day. What would be one thing if you could do, you would do it?
I would probably add a left-handed starter, like we talked about.
And who would that be? Because that was going to be my other questions to you guys. What would be your fantasy in 2 weeks to happen? We all know Deeches, he wants Gleyber Torres on the team since February. So
it's weird to call it a fantasy, because he's not it was more of a realistic hope I was assessing what was still out there, and we didn't know what was going to happen with Clev. But a name I kept looking at was Rich Hill, and it just seems like he is the kind of antithesis of what a lot of the rest of the White Sox rotation is, where it's he doesn't have dazzling stuff. He's not going to go out there and have the capability of throwing 6 1-hit innings with 7 strikeouts, 8 strikeouts. But he's going to throw innings. He's going to take just someone else, kind of like the Cueto mold of he'll go out there and take the ball every 5th day. He'll go. And so, I mean, if we're trying to be realistic, and with what was on the market, he was a name that I looked at this offseason and thought that doesn't seem like a White Sox move. And maybe that's exactly why they should do it.
Yeah. And that's something that I was thinking about. Can they just do something that we wouldn't think of them doing? If we get our phones breaking, when I was seeing the Bears signing all these players, and when I saw the Bears trade number 1 pick to Carolina, the first thing I thought of was we better get DJ Moore at worst. And I was just like one of those moments where it's if I see a breaking where the Sox get somebody, it's just one of those things that it just it would get you more hyped up for the beginning of the season, especially because I feel like this kind of time is kind of where people are no baseball's on. But unless you're big into it, there's not really, because this is the downtime from the Super Bowl until May. I feel like people really aren't it's all about just trying to get ready for the nice weather and everything like that. So if something like that happens, I feel like it would be because I don't think opening day sold out, is it? I feel like there's still probably a lot of tickets available, especially with the weather here. We all know how that is. So Deech, what would be yours? What would be your fantasy thing to happen?
Honestly, right now, I'm still gonna hammer the DFA Leury Garcia.
That's his DFA Leury.
Because really, at this point, if they go and spend more money on a pitcher, then you're pretty much saying at the deadline you're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
So I kind of just see it as you can't really add to the payroll, but you can get that idiot off the team. Like I
love it.
I
hate Leury's speech.
So bad. He didn't know how many outs there were. Like that's unacceptable.
Well, and that's what needs to be. It needs to be accountable. You need to be accountable for your actions. And it's like if you guys treat them like kids, maybe they'll start learning. Maybe that's what Leury needs. I think Leury's that guy that he's been here for so long that he feels like he's invincible and untouchable that we're just not going to get rid of him. And if we release him, and he's going to be like, damn, because we got him back isn't that when we traded for Rios or we got rid of Rio? Yeah, it wasn't. If I remember right. So it's just like I feel like that's one of the, and you know how Jerry's loyal. Jerry can't get rid of nobody. Jerry's got to keep. And
I don't think Jerry's as loyal as everyone thinking. Like the whole with Jose and
yeah, I mean, yeah, that is a true point. Like, you know, we didn't talk too much about Jose today, but how do you guys feel about that? Do you guys feel like it's gonna be weird? See, obviously it's gonna be weird, but like, I mean, like, have you guys like prepared yourself? Because I saw all of his bobbleheads in like a row, and I'm like, I don't know what to do here. I got his jersey. I'm like, oh shit, I can't wear this now. I'm like, I don't know.
I think I'm over it.
Yeah. Are you over it? That's kind of like how I kind of feel too. It's like as I've gotten older, it's like as much as I love these guys, we weren't going to pay him $60 million. He got that much money, good for him. There was no way we were going to pay him that much money.
I mean, perfectly said. I can't believe how hung up some people got on it. I was very upset because he's
yeah, for sure. I had my moment where it was just like, you know,
it sucks and it sucks where he went, but at the same time, I'm happy he's going to go somewhere where he can win. They'll probably win the World Series, or at the very least be there again this year. I'm happy for Jose that he got the big payday at the end of his career. The White Sox did what they had to do. I don't blame him for feeling like there was some, for there being animosity near the end there. They drafted his replacement. They basically showed him the door by the way that they built the roster for there not to be a spot for him. But AV hit more home runs than him last year with less at bats. There's no reason to think that trend won't continue this year. And they have their guy to replace him. So it was time to let him go.
Yeah, and that was a good thing, and that's a good point. That was the biggest thing I heard is it's like we have 3 first basemen.
Yeah,
Vaughn, Sheets, and Abreu. You couldn't keep all 3 of them, and you can't have 2 guys playing outfield. Vaughn was the biggest thing. His legs fell apart in August, and we saw how the power went. So I can't wait to see this man play like 100 plus games at first base and see what he does in August when he's just at first base. And then if he DHs and, so I just wanted to mention that because we really didn't talk about it. But, I mean, it is going to be definitely weird to see that guy in that uniform because ESPN is going to make a big deal about it. I don't know if they have like a grudge against us, but I think they hate us. So I figure now at this point, since we got a little bit more time before we got to go and everything, I figure we get to the chat, see what everybody is saying. We got a bunch of people in here. Chris is saying, "What's up?" Chris is getting 2K23 tomorrow. Chris, let's go, bro. I played my first War Games match, and I played a little bit of the John Cena mode. Or do you guys play the wrestling games at all, or am I just the lame one sitting here talking?
No, I watch wrestling. So.
Do you? Okay. So do you know what's going on then and everything? Like
with
kinda?
Cody and all that. Yeah.
Funny as hell. Chris, definitely, bro. When we get it, we gotta play it together. I want to start gaming on my channel eventually. We got the Sports Capital in the building. What's up? How you doing? Baseball. Yes, it does. 2 weeks away. Don't forget, Jacob will be here, bro. You already know. I'll be back here 6:45, guys. Come and hang out with your boy Tino. Do you guys got a YouTube? Jacob wants to know. We'll get to all their handles and everything, Jacob, after the show. Let you guys all know where to go follow everybody. We got Golden Sponge. What's up? He says, "Go Cubs! Get the hell out. We don't like you here." Sports Capital says go Yankees.
Oh, even worse.
He said even worse. He said Jacob says go Cardinals. I could deal with the Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Jake Jonathan says hello. Eric says, how are you doing? I'm doing okay. How are you doing, Eric? I appreciate you stopping by. Hassan, what's up, Hassan? How are you doing? We got NXT tonight, guys. Yes, I'm not. Everybody thinks because I do one show. Guys, how many times have we done like triple headers here? I'm always here, guys. Always here. I'll be live, NXT. Hello, baseball fans. Black Sox, White Sox. Okay, then. Well, those were all the chats. I thought there was a little bit more, but I guess not. So, well, guys, I think this is a good way to end the first episode.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? So
Absolutely.
I appreciate all of you guys coming, hanging out, talking White Sox baseball. I think we covered a lot of good stuff here today. In the middle of the season, we got 2 weeks from Thursday till opening night. Now that I know that, ESPN, White Sox, Astros in the what is the stadium called now? Miller? Is it not Miller?
It's a Minute Maid Park. Or no,
Minute Maid. There we go. Minute Maid. I can't keep track of the stadiums. Minute Maid Park, guys, 2 weeks away from the MLB baseball season beginning. And again, it just so happens the Sox are playing the World Series champs, the Houston Astros. So, guys, I appreciate all of you guys coming and hanging out here today. But before we go, if all of you guys want to go let everybody know where they can find you on social media, go follow you, go subscribe if you guys got a YouTube channel. So this is the time for all of you guys. Whoever wants to start, go ahead.
You can follow me at Husky Bardo.
You can follow me at Justin K. Oh Lord, KOSMC.
MC. I'll make sure to put their handles in the description, guys. As you guys know,
Yeah,
we're gonna. Deech said he wants to try to come up with so we could have our own Twitter or something.
That'd be cool.
Deech, I think that's all on you, bro.
Awesome.
He said awesome. But where can they find you at, Deech?
Southside Beach.
SouthSide Deech, that's it. But again, guys, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys all coming and hanging out with me, talking some White Sox baseball. Like I said, we'll be back here in 2 weeks. March 28th, we'll be back here another Tuesday, 4:45. Works for you guys? Does time work for you guys?
Yeah, it works.
4 or 5. Yeah, like I said, once the WrestleMania is over, it won't be so bad. If I'm a couple minutes late to NXT, it won't be so bad. But guys, 2 weeks from today, 4 or 5 o'clock, come and hang out with us as we'll be back here just 2 days away to the MLB season to get ready and get you ready for the MLB 2023 season. So, guys, this is your boy Tino, Southside Deech, Bardo, I keep saying Bardo, and J-Man. We're signing out. And, guys, I'll see you guys all tonight for NXT when we go live at 6:45 p.m. Central Standard Time.